Hello, Year 5. This is your final lesson of our science topic for this half term. As you can see, this will involve the assessment task and the quiz. So to begin thinking about what we have covered this half term, can you think of 10 things that you have learnt, investigated, or proved in this topic? Can you think of 10 things that you have learnt, investigated, or proved in this topic? If you haven't done so already, it would be really useful to have a piece of paper and pen or pencil so you can write things down. And then pause the tape to give you time to think and write down as many things as you can. Okay, Year 5, I wonder how many things you managed to come up with. And I'm sure all the pictures on the screen that you can see you have used to help you maybe jog your memory about some of the science you've been learning. Now, you probably came up with a few things. I wrote a few things down. We talked about properties of materials. What makes different materials useful for different jobs? For example, we use glass in windows because it's transparent. It lets light through. Maybe you wrote something down about metals and magnets. We know that all magnetic material is metal, but are all metals magnetic? Maybe you thought about natural and man-made materials. We talked about different types of materials which are man-made and which are natural. Maybe you thought about insulators and conductors. Conductors will allow electricity or heat to pass through them. Insulators will not allow heat or electricity to pass through easily. Maybe you wrote something down about materials that are soluble, that can dissolve in water. And which materials are soluble? Can you think of that can dissolve in water? So, moving on. Now, in order to complete the quiz, you will need to log into Purple Mash. That will be available from next week, Wednesday. You can complete the questions there for your assessment task. Before you complete your assessment task, you may want to go back to the Harris YouTube site and make sure, or just look again at some of the investigations that are there for our topic in case you've missed one, or you want to look at something again that maybe you weren't quite sure of. So your assessment task is to write a non-chronological report about material properties. You might want to use these headings: properties, solubility, insulators, and conductors. So underneath each of those headings are some questions. And what you need to try and do is answer those questions with a full sentence and to give examples. So under properties, what does property mean? Can you give examples? How can you tell if a material is magnetic? Give an example of a magnetic and non-magnetic material. Are all metals magnetic? What do we mean by a natural material? Give an example. What do we mean by a man-made material? Give an example. Under solubility, what does solubility mean? Give an example of a substance that is soluble. Give an example of a substance that is insoluble. If sugar is dissolved in water, can you see it? How can you prove that the dissolved substance is still there? And under insulators and conductors, define insulator and conductor. What do those words mean? Give an example of each of the below and explain what it is useful for example, in the home. An electrical conductor, how might that be useful? An electrical insulator, a thermal conductor, and a thermal insulator. So if you have paper, an exercise book, you can have a go at answering these questions about material properties. Now, once you've completed your task, if you want to extend yourself even further, you might want to try this extension activity. Many people use a thermos mug for their coffee. Why do they use one? How does it work? What material is it made of? Is it only useful for hot drinks, or can it be used for cold ones too? So year 5, please feel free to go back to the Harris YouTube site and look at the investigations for our science and the lessons. And you need to go to Purple Mash to complete the quiz for this term's topic. Any questions, please ask and put it in the chat. All the best, year 5.